I'm not 100% sure how informed everybody is on what colonization is, so I'd like to kind of cover just a little bit about that. And Europeans had come over to what they call the Western lands, and the reason why people refer it as Western society is because Europeans considered themselves the center of the universe. So we were to the west of them, and that's where we have coined this term, Western ways. And these lands were fruitful and bountiful with many resources, and the Hudson's Bay Company was a booming thing for Europeans, so they settled here. And the reality is that they didn't know how to live here and survive. So in other histories, most people were killed off in a genocide, whereas they couldn't do that to our people, so they managed to learn with us and try to live with us, but eventually we were colonized and oppressed in many ways. So there was things like the Indian Act that came out, and for our people who are already living here were then labeled who they could be as an Indian, and if you were deserving of that title, which led into, as times followed forward, the 60s scoop, which was when the government had said that, you know, because of residential schooling, which I'm sure people are very familiar with, I'm not sure, but they had taken their children from their homes, put them into Christian schools, and then when they went back home, the government had deemed their parents not able to parent. So residential schoolings were kind of getting a little bit of a negative connotation to them, so then they did the 60s scoop, where they took their children and put them into family services. So now brings us to the current system that we have today, which is child and family services. So there's a lot of public conversation around that lately, but there's a long-term generational effect of how the government has continually oppressed our people who live here. And they didn't necessarily agree to the way we lived. We were a matriarch society, and you know, our government was run differently. They tried writing treaties, but it was misunderstood, and conversations around that are constantly being battled at a government level.